The following is a production of Stevenson Media. Want to tip the host? Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Get a free Houston Sports State of the Union podcast t-shirt with a donation of $50 or more.
This is the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Houston Sports Nation, Nick Stevenson.
My goodness. Thank you. Please be seated. My fellow Houstonians, happy July 4th, and welcome to this Houston Sports State of the Union address for the week of June 30th. I am the self-appointed president of Houston Sports Nation, Nick Stevenson. Thank you so much for joining me on this fine holiday afternoon. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to spend a little bit of time with me, and I appreciate that. On today's show, the Houston Astros are in the hunt for the division. They need to make a run. They're making it, so they definitely should be buyers now. But who are the guys they should be buying? That's what we need to discuss. I have my thoughts on three of them. Two of them, the Astros are playing as we speak. The Houston Rockets have introduced Reed Sheppard officially, and I think I'm a little more excited than I initially was after paying close attention to some of his play last season and for the potential of what he could be. I'm going to play some snippets of Rafael Stone, Ime Udoka, and Reed Sheppard's press conference, some of my favorite parts of it. And lastly, I have opened up the floor to AFC South Warzone. I told them, you want to debate? Come see me. So I've opened up the floor. I've sent the link to a couple of them who say that they're going to come. We'll see if they'll put their mouths where their fingers are. Okay, wait, maybe I should find a different way to put that. Anyways, so we'll discuss that. We'll talk about AFC South, Houston Texans, of course, being the best team in said AFC South. And I would love to give away a t-shirt. I've been trying to give one away for a few weeks. If you guys want one, maybe we'll do some Houston sports trivia and give away one of those. But once again, I appreciate you joining me. Once more, let me please remind you of the ways that you can support the show. One of them you're doing right now. You're either listening, watching, hopefully you're hitting sharing with your Houston sports fans, or maybe you are sharing with some Colts fans or some Jacksonville fans or some Titans fans so they can come get in on this debate. However, either way, if you're sharing, if you're watching, if you're listening, that is the best way you can support me, and I appreciate that very much. If you would like to support financially, I have a link to a tip jar. If you're watching the video, there's a QR code right at the bottom. If you're listening, then there's a link in the description of this video where you can access my tip jar. Anything left in that tip jar will go straight back to the show so I can continue bringing you content. If you leave a donation of $50 or more, I'll give you one of these sweet Houston Sports State of the Union podcast t-shirts. Remember to please take a screenshot so that I know that you made that donation and I can send you your t-shirt. Also, there's affiliate links in the description for both the Houston Sports Fan Gear of the Week, and there are affiliate links in there for the podcast equipment I'm using to bring you this show. So if you guys purchase from those links, I'll get a little bit of change and it'll go back into the show as well. So I really appreciate it. Lastly, I do have one spot remaining for sponsorship. So if you're interested in me representing your business, please email me at hsstateoftheunionpod@gmail.com. I would love to talk more about our business plan and us growing our businesses together. But that's how you can support the show. But like I said, if you're listening, if you're watching, I appreciate you so much. I already see my man P. Scott in the chat. What it do, baby? If we don't get to a debate about the AFC South, I'm pretty sure you and I probably have some unsettled beef we could discuss. But I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in. And I'm looking forward to having this conversation. So right now, let's go ahead and start with the state of the Houston Astros. All right. The Astros are actually playing right now. I have it on the television in studio. The last I checked, they were up 4-3. Unless something crazy has happened already. I'm seeing somebody with a not very happy look on their face. Anyway, you guys keep me abreast of that. We'll watch it together. But the Houston Astros, I've been asking you guys for weeks, are they going to be buyers or sellers? And I have to admit, man, I was on the Astros need to be sellers bandwagon. I was on that train. And I'm here to admit to you right now today, I was wrong. I am jumping off of that train 100%. As we stand right now, the Astros are 2 games behind in the division. They are currently leading Toronto 4-2. And I told you guys, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything, but I did say if they were going to get back in this thing, number one, the teams ahead of them needed to slip. Well, check that off. The Mariners have begun to do that. Their offense is like non-existent right now, which bodes well for us. But I also said the Astros would have to go on some sustained runs, winning 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, maybe 10-game win streak. And that's exactly what they've done. And here they find themselves. And yet again, a position where they have an opportunity to win the AFC. I'm sorry, the AFC. Bro, I can't wait to get to that conversation. The NL West. I apologize. So the question is, now that we know that they should be buyers, who should they be buying? And I mentioned there's a couple of players that they're actually playing right now that I think they should be heavily looking into adding to this team. One you're going to agree with, one you might not. And then there's someone else that plays for the Chicago White Sox that I think they should go after. Let's see. Let me go ahead and share my list of targets with you guys that I believe the Astros should go after. So the way I see this, I have 1 arm, 1 bat, and 1 for morale and for mojo. Okay? So the morale and the mojo pick is George Springer. Now, George Springer, dealing with injury a lot to this year, is not having a great season statistically. He's batting .213. He has a .650 OPS. And he still has 2 years left on that big contract that Toronto gave him. Vlad Guerrero, however, is hitting very well, .297 with an .844 OPS. He will not be a free agent this upcoming year. He still has 1 year of arbitration. And then I believe he will be an unrestricted free agent after that arbitration year. And then you've got from the Chicago White Sox, Garrett Crochet. Excellent pitcher. He's got ace stuff. Right now, he's got a 3.02 ERA, 141 Ks. He's only 6-6 because the White Sox are garbage. But that whip, he's got a .93 whip, and he has 2 years left of arbitration before he becomes what I believe is a restricted free agent. So these are the 3 main targets I think that they should be going after. Here's my thing. I understand that let me start with George Springer. With George Springer, the good news about the fact that he's not hitting very well right now and that he still has 2 years left on his deal is you might be able to pick him up for a much smaller price tag. And what you're hoping is number one, now that he's starting to get healthy, he's been swinging a pretty decent bat in the past month. You hope that the feel-good story of him coming back to Houston, the comeback story of Houston getting back into the division, you hope maybe that change of scenery, some hope of being able to play in the postseason, maybe you spark something great out of George Springer. And I get it. It's kind of corny. I know it's more of a feel thing, but I understand that part. But I think that bringing George Springer back to this team, number one, he can play the outfield. If you get Springer, you probably get to keep Leperfado, and he can continue to play first base interchangeably with John Singleton. And then it looks like we just went around. Okay, guys, pause the conversation really quick. Jeremy Pena just hit a home run. The Astros are now up 5-3. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so now you have George Springer playing the outfield when Tucker returns. You have an outfield of maybe Jake Myers at center. Maybe you can put Tucker in left since he's dealing with a little bit of an injury, or vice versa. Left and right field, you can either have Tucker and or George Springer. And then you keep Leperfado at first, and he can play the outfield when one of those other guys are resting, or if you want to do some lineup changes. I think adding George Springer to this team would be very beneficial, and you don't have to give up a lot. The other person that I brought up was Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and I see my Pops just hopped in the chat. He says, go get him. I tend to agree with you, Pops, but there's also, you're going to have to give up quite a bit to get him. You're probably giving up Leperfido and one of your other prospects. Not your top shelf prospect, which the Astros don't have many of those left anyway. But if I'm Toronto, I need a young pitcher. I need a young bat. So Leperfido takes care of the bat. Now I'm talking, you're going to give up Arrighetti. You're going to give up Hunter Brown to get Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, those guys are really important parts of your team right now because your starting pitching is so devastated. So I don't know. There's a lot of different scenarios. I don't know what else Toronto would want from the farm system, but I do know that pitching is a big need on this team, and that's why I said that the Astros should go get Garrett Crochet. Now, Garrett Crochet is going to cost you probably the top shelf of your prospects. Luis Baez is the number 2 prospect. He's probably got to go. Like, he's the perfect candidate for a young bat for a team that's going to try to rebuild like Toronto needs to do. I know they are technically in on the wild card race, but in that division against the Yankees, against the Red Sox, against the Orioles, they have just severely underperformed. It's time for them, in my opinion, to hit that reset button and let go of some of these stars. I'm sorry. We're talking about the White Sox at this point. The White Sox, yeah, they need to tear the whole thing down as well. But they're in a very similar position as the Blue Jays. But yeah, you're probably going to have to give up Luis Baez, Bryce Matthews, Jose Fleury, Chase Jaworski. You're probably going to have to give up a haul to get Garrett Crochet. But the thing about getting Garrett Crochet is that you got 2 years of arbitration. He is an ace. He is a flamethrower. He is your opening day starter from the left-hand side for the next 6 years. If you can get him through arbitration and then re-sign him to a deal, I mean, that's your replacement for Verlander as the ace of this squad. So the question is, do we empty the shelf? Like, once you've done that, you're going all in on what you got. And then if you're going to do that, I think the question of whether you re-sign Tucker or not becomes moot. Like, at that point, you're all in. Or maybe you do a deal like that and you trade Tucker and you see what type of prospects you can get. I don't know. I just know right now, listening to Dana Brown in the press conferences that he's done recently, he keeps hearkening on the theme of this year was relentless. And that's what he keeps calling this team, relentless. And don't get me wrong, they have been. And they're doing it with a bunch of guys, like I said last week, that we didn't even know were going to be on this team at the beginning of the year. People like Trey Cabbage playing good defense in the outfield. Dubon, Pena has had a decent bounce back season. All the guys that, we thought were going to come out gangbusters started off slow, like Alex Bregman. I just realized last week, I haven't even got to address the whole Jose Abreu situation because he got let go. And I don't think I did an Astros segment that week because I believe that's the week that me and Prescott were arguing about quarterbacks and how to build a franchise. And I never got to the Astros, and I don't know that we got to talk about the fact that they finally let Jose Abreu go. But I think right now the Astros are focused on this season because they have a shot this season. And I think they're going to do what they have to do this season. I don't know. I mean, obviously they're not going to jeopardize their entire future, but I don't think they're going to be overly careful realizing that they have a shot to win this division again. But you don't need to just win the division. Like, you're going to have to be able to be competitive in the playoffs versus Cleveland, versus the Yankees, versus Baltimore, or the Phillies or the Dodgers if we were to make it that far. So in my opinion, yes, be buyers, be aggressive. I think if you can get it done, maybe try to get Guerrero and Crochet. Is that possible? Or Crochet? I don't remember how he pronounces his last name. But the Astros need an arm and they need a first baseman, and you can always use an extra bat. So if there's a way that they can get both, I would say get both. Get a combination of either Garrett Crochet, I want him badly. Like, he's got to be. I would take him and George Springer. Ideally, you would like him and Guerrero Jr. Guerrero Jr., like I said, he has one more year of arbitration, and then he becomes a free agent, and you can decide. So you at least get him not just for this season, but you get him for one more year, and you have a chance to make a run, and hopefully your pitching staff starts getting healthy. Hopefully you have Garrett Crochet on said pitching staff. Now you're cooking with grease. I think there's an opportunity for the Astros to make some moves that'll keep them right in the thick of it, hopefully for the next couple of seasons. So let me look at the schedule really quick. I've told you guys 1,000 times. I know that this is terrible radio. But I told you guys last week, I believe the Houston Astros only have one team that's above 500 over the next several weeks. And yeah, it's the Minnesota Twins. The Twins are 10 games over 500. They're a good team. Carlos Correa is doing his thing over there. But other than that, you have a bunch of teams under 500 up until you get to the Seattle Mariners series after the All-Star break. So you could potentially be going into that series. Maybe you already have the lead in the division, but that series could definitely be for the lead in the division. And I think it could be a really, really, really. I think there is a really, really good chance that the Astros, before it's all said and done, win another division title. If they can keep the momentum they have going, and I think they need some pieces to put them over the top. I see my pops in the chat. Lowell Stevenson says Guerrero puts them over the top offensively. I think you're right, man. I mean, he's definitely an upgrade over what they have now. And you could even DH him at times and have Yordan in left field and maybe Leperfido at first. There's a lot you could do with that. There's a whole lot you could do with that. And, when I brought up the George Springer thing, that's a guy who's struggling right now that you hope can kick it into gear. And once again, the only reason I suggested that is because I think because he struggled, because it doesn't make sense for the Blue Jays to keep him with the money that he's making because they're not competing for anything. But the Astros, first of all, he's had really good seasons the last 2 years. And when he's healthy, we know what he can do. We saw it. So I would take a combination of either him and Garrett Crochet or Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Crochet. From all intensive purposes, everything I've read is that the Astros are really aggressive after Vlad Jr. And so that'd be great. Hey, maybe we could work that out before the end of this game. Like, just put Vlad on the plane with us. Let him come with us, man. The Astros just threw out Varsho trying to steal second. So they still lead 5-3. Awesome. Yeah, so I think the state of the Houston Astros right now is good. And who'd have thought that? And I'm not going to sit here. I think I was somewhere in the middle. I'm not going to sit here and act like I knew this would happen, but I wasn't hitting the panic button either. I told you guys I'd actually be okay with a down year if the Houston Astros had it. And I told you guys I think that Astros owner, Jim Crane, would probably be okay with it as well. But now that you're sitting here, you're in the position where you got to make the decision. I know if I'm Dana Brown and my reputation's on the line and possibly my job is on the line, yeah, I want to go for it. I'm not worried about what happens in 5 years. So, I mean, he'll empty the cabinet if he's got to get a good pitcher or a good bat or a combination of both. So, but I would say the state of the Houston Astros is good. They're up on Toronto right now. It's the bottom of the 7th, 5-3, 2 outs. If you guys are watching with me, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate anybody who's tuning in while the Astros game is going on. All right. Really quick, man, let's do the state of the Houston Rockets. All right. The Houston Rockets introduced Reed Sheppard, had a press conference a couple of days ago. I think when they drafted Reed Sheppard, we all understood that Reed Sheppard was a pick that was made because, number one, they couldn't move it. That's probably what they preferred to do. At least that was all the news ahead of time. But once they were going to take the pick, it's highly believed that the reason they picked Reed Sheppard is because he was, quote unquote, the best shooter in the draft. We talked about it last week, 52.1% from three, 53% from the field, although he was not a starter. Lashard Binkley, when he was on the program, he mentioned that he only took about 4 threes a game, but still 53%, 52%, they are what they are. And I'm not going to act like I believe he's going to come to the NBA and shoot 50% from the three-point line. Matter of fact, he only shot in the mid-30s in high school as I was doing some research. But I decided, I'm not a huge college basketball guy. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a scout or that I scout all of these players and that I know everything about every single player. But after they made the pick, I decided, let me go watch some Reed Sheppard tape. And I got to tell you, man, I was really impressed with the way he plays the game. He's got a good feel, what they call basketball IQ. He seems to be in control of the floor when he's on it, makes the right pass, shoots at the right time, and he's sneaky athletic. We all know what that really means. He's a white guy who can dunk. But still, I mean, he's got good enough athleticism to be in the NBA. And this is what drives me nuts, is the whole time they're calling him undersized during the draft process. The dude did have like a 42-inch vert. That's crazy. Pretty fly for a white guy. And also, you know who else is his size? Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Jalen Brunson. Guys who have success in the NBA right now. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be either of those guys, but it's not impossible that he couldn't be a Fred VanVleet type even, or a Kyle Lowry type even. All I'm saying is that Reed Sheppard and Ime Udoka said this as much as well. Like, it's not a guarantee that he's going to come into the NBA and everything he did in college is going to translate. But they felt so good about the level of what he did in college that they know with good coaching, with good effort on his part, if he puts in the work, like, the potential is there for him to be a very good NBA player. And really, at this point, I really wish I was in the room. And one day, maybe I will be. And I'm going to play you guys some of my favorite answers that he gave at the press conference, including my man Lashard Binkley got his question in and answered by Reed Sheppard. But if I could have asked him anything, I would have asked Reed. Every so-called expert says that this draft class is garbage. In the words of my man P. Scott, it's booty juice. Every expert says this draft is a bunch of nobodies. Did you guys talk about that during the combine process, during the draft process? And does that put a chip on your shoulder? Do you want to prove that this draft class is better than what everybody's saying it is? And honestly, dude, if I'm a coach, as a fan, that's the type of attitude I want him to come in with. Now, in this press conference, I'm going to play you a couple of clips of it. He came in very humble and he was saying all the right things. And I just wanted to see what kind of attitude he was going to bring into that press conference after the draft. Let me go ahead and show you guys a couple of clips of it, and then we'll talk about it.
Reed, welcome. As you probably have heard, Rafael said the Rockets viewed you as the top prospect, the best prospect in the draft. If you agree with him, why would you feel that way, assuming you do agree?
I think just coming out every game, doing whatever it takes to win, being the guy that it doesn't matter what coach needs, what the team needs, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. Come in every day and practice with a positive mindset on the whole season, and just coming in and working really hard and just being the guy on the team that will do whatever it takes to win.
When you look back on your career potentially 10, 15, 20 years down the line from now, what would a successful career look like in your eyes?
Yeah, obviously win a championship. I think that's the main goal as a basketball player, is you want to win at the highest level and you want to be the champion. But at the end of the day, being a guy that everyone looks at and knows he played really hard. He played with a lot of positivity. He was a good teammate. He was a good person off the court. You know, I don't want to just be known as a basketball player. I think it's very important to get out in the community and interact with the fans and have good relationships with your teammates and the coaches in the front office and everyone in Houston. Just being that good team and community guy that, looking back 20 years, they're not like, oh, he just played basketball. He was a winner. He was a competitor, but also he was a good person.
Of course, you were one of the best shooters in the nation last season. But another thing that kind of stood out was your ability to play off ball, and also because of the basket and get easy points that way. Now you're playing with a guy like Alperen Sengun, who's one of the best post passers in the league. How do you think your game is going to mesh with his once you get on the court?
Yeah, I think it can be really special. You know, and it'll take time. It probably won't click right away. It'd be really good if it did, but you know, you gotta figure out how to play with each other and then just get the feel for everything. You know, it's new, but you know, I'm really excited to play with him and with everyone else on the team. Everyone is really good, and it's going to be. I'm super excited to get here and learn and just be a part of the Houston Rockets.
All right, man. So Reed said all the right things, and what I liked is they talked a lot about how he comes from a basketball family. Both his parents played at Kentucky, were very successful at Kentucky. And he talked about how his parents never threw their accolades in his face, never forced him into basketball, but he was always aware of basketball and he always loved it and it was there. And when he finally did started playing, then he said his father was more of the coach and his mother was the motivator. But one thing they always told him is to be tough. And I'm telling you right now, at your size, bro, in the NBA, you're going to have to be tough. Because, yes, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Kyle Lowry, Jalen Brunson, all those guys are quote-unquote undersized. But the reason they are able to make it in this league is because, number one, they're extremely skilled, but also they have toughness. You know, they can bang with guys twice their size. There's no part of their game that you would consider soft. So I hope Reed Sheppard can bring that same tenacity and energy. What I want, and Ime Udoka said this as well, because like I said, he was trying to say all the right things. He came in and he said he doesn't want to rub anybody the wrong way. He just wants to fit in. He doesn't want to make things harder. Coach Udoka said, I want him to make things harder. I want him to push these guys because if he comes in and he performs, then he'll play. Like, and me and Lashard talked about this last week. Coach Udoka has no allegiance to any player. Like, he benched Jalen Green. He benched Sengun. He benched pretty much everybody except Van Fleet. He even benched Dylan Brooks at certain points when Dylan Brooks wasn't performing well. So if Reed Sheppard plays this year, it's going to be because he earned it. It's going to be because he hustled on the defensive end. He played smart basketball and he knocked down open shots. And I hope he can do it. Pop says gym rat, best attribute. Yeah, I mean, it seems like he really, really is focused on honing his craft. He seems like a nice kid too. He talked about being involved in the community and all of those things. So listen, I'm excited. I started watching some of his Kentucky tape. He averaged 2.2 steals a game, averaged like a block per game. He plays defense, and he's not going to be like a Shane Battier shutdown one-on-one defender, but he has a good enough basketball IQ where he's smart. He just knows where to be, and he plays good team defense. And that's what the Rockets are going to have to do, especially with a smaller guard like Fred VanVleet, who he gets a lot of deflections, he gets a lot of tipped balls, but he's not bodying up anybody and staying in front of them one-on-one for an entire 24-second shot clock. Like, it's going to take good team defense, and that's why I'm so excited for this season. Steven Adams being in the middle, getting Tari Eason back, who's a great defender. Hopefully he just doesn't troll the Warriors, but when he's not playing, hopefully he'll be on the field. I'm sorry, on the court. But listen, the Houston Rockets have a lot to be optimistic about. Reed Sheppard being just one of the many things. I can't wait for Summer League. They signed, it was Adrian Griffin Jr. Well, it's Adrian Griffin's son, but his name is AJ Griffin. I don't know if they call him Jr. But they traded the 44th pick to the Hawks in order to acquire AJ Griffin. And AJ Griffin is another knockdown shooter. I don't really understand why it didn't go well with the Hawks. I've been trying to get in contact actually with some of the podcasters from Atlanta who cover the Hawks and maybe have them come on the show. I'm trying to get somebody, Kentucky Wildcat podcaster too, to join the show. If anybody has the plug, let me know. I'm working on some things, man. I want to bring some people in here so we can get to know some of these players that haven't been here for a while and just get some ideas of what they bring to the Houston Rockets. And so when I have the opportunity to do that, I definitely will. But I would say the state of the Houston Rockets is very, very good, very exciting. I'm looking forward, like I said, to Summer League. I'm looking forward to hopefully one day being in the room to ask the questions. That would be great. And if it seems like I'm stalling a little bit, it's because my AFC South Warzone guys are flaking on me. Surprise, surprise. P. Scott, I see you said you're prepping food at the moment, but you're down in a bit. Look, you let me know if you want to call or if you want to actually come on virtually. You know what I'm going to do if you guys can bear with me? I'm going to go on the AFC South Warzone, and I am going to put the link to join this show right there. You guys give me just a second. Boom, boom. Because, so if anybody's in the AFC South Warzone, they are just all in there talking unmitigated trash about the Texans, about CJ Stroud. And I said, if you want to have this debate about who the best team in the AFC South is, let's come have it. But you guys put your mouth where your Twitter fingers are, and let's go. All right. To join the show. Nope. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh my goodness. All right, there it is. Okay. In the meantime, let me go ahead and start the state of the Houston Texans. All right. We'll wait on these guys to see if they're going to show up. If anybody shows up, I will give them an opportunity to join the show and talk. If you guys want to call in instead, the phone number. Oh my goodness. Hold on. You're seeing some behind the scenes here. The phone number is 832-835-3141. And I'm going to send, I got a Thomas Webb. I'm sending him a link right now. He is a Tennessee Titans fan. Those are the ones I really want to talk to. Those are the ones I really, really want to talk to. So as soon as he joins, we'll get him in here and we'll start this debate. But so in AFC Warzone, basically the creators of this group are a bunch of Titans fans. And the Titans fans are, what's the word I'm looking for? Just in complete denial about Will Levis, about their roster. And what's funny is every time they make a post in this group, it's hating on the Texans. Like, obviously the Texans are the big dogs. They won the division. So it's just jealousy is what it really is. But people get keyboards in their hands and they get real saucy. You know what I mean? When they get a keyboard in their hand, they get super saucy. And I said, look, man, you want to have this discussion? Let's have this discussion, but let's do it live and in living color on the podcast. And everybody, it was the typical, oh, why would I come on your podcast? You're a nobody. You don't have any followers. I don't even know who you are. As if that matters. Like, why does that matter? You don't know who I am, so you can't come talk football. You can't come talk. You don't know who I am, but you're talking crap to me inside of this group. But you're using your Twitter fingers. You're not using your brain, your logic, your mouth. Let's see. What do I got going on? Who is calling me? You guys give me just a moment. Thomas is calling? Thomas, if you're watching, man, don't call me through. I sent you the link. Give me just a second. That's my AFC Warzone compadre. He's trying to call through Messenger. And I'm not. All right. So I'm going to give him some time. As a matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. P. Scott, you get your computer fired up. I'm going to get you guys both in on this chat, and we're going to have this conversation together. I will be right back in just a few moments. Okay, we are back, and I am joined by Thomas Webb, and Thomas Webb, back to the state of the Houston Texans. Thomas Webb is a Titans fan that I met on the AFC South Warzone page. Thomas, how are you doing today? First of all, man, I got to commend you for hopping on this. So many people were talking so much unmitigated shit in that group. But you had the cojones to come in, and you got your Titans hat on, so you're 10 toes down. I give you so much credit. I give you props. Thank you for joining the show, man. How you doing on this July 4th, first of all?
Man, I'm doing good. I appreciate you.
Man, what you guys doing? You barbecuing? What you got going on?
Nothing. It's too hot.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So do you live in Tennessee?
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised. Okay, so that's another thing I respect, man, is somebody who reps their city, their town. Were you a football fan? First of all, if I may ask, how old are you?
I'm 30. So
You're
basically, 30. When the Titans moved to Nashville, I was in kindergarten.
Okay.
And cool backstory, I remember my elementary school had invited like Steve McNair and basically the main Titans players up to the school.
Yeah.
And we got to meet them and stuff. So
Eddie George, all those guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the year they went to the Super Bowl. So that's how I became hooked ever since. So
Yeah, for sure. Hey, P. Scott, I got you. I'm going to send you an email here in just a little bit, bud. Give me just a second. So that's cool, man. And I respect anybody who reps 10 toes down. So I would imagine, I'm going to ask you this question because if something happened and the Adams family decided, you know what, we don't want to be in Nashville anymore. We're moving our team to, I don't know, Portland. We'll just say Portland because they don't have a team. Yeah. Would you continue to be a Titans fan? Or if the NFL said, you know what, I don't like the fact that Nashville doesn't have a team. You guys supported the Titans so much. Let's give you an expansion franchise. Who would you rock with? The new expansion franchise or the Titans?
I'm the Titans all the way.
Okay.
It's for life. Like I got
he
the
put it in
tattoo
a
and everything.
man. Okay,
Yeah.
so what if they change their name?
Yeah.
What if they go to Portland and they change their name to something else?
That just shows how original I am. Like,
All right. That's fair, man. That's fair. I'll tell you what. I got respect for that, man. And like I said, I appreciate you coming in. I know there's a lot of people talking all kinds of mess in that group. And I mean, it's sports, man. It's one of those things that hopefully you don't take it too seriously. I know there's probably some people in there who do take it a little too seriously, but it's all well and good. So I want to have this debate with you. I want to have this discussion with you. Now, you've been a Titans fan since kindergarten, so I got to believe you know what you're talking about. All right.
Yeah.
So the big discussion right now in the AFC South war zone is who's the best team, who has the best quarterback. And I already know who you think and what you feel. Right here, you have this moment to tell everybody why you think that the Tennessee Titans both have the best quarterback and are the best team in the AFC South. The floor is yours.
Okay. I'm a realistic person, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like, because I'm gonna be honest, I wanted us to draft CJ Stroud. So it's obviously CJ Stroud. And I mean, when you win the division, you obviously the best team going into the next season.
Okay.
But the only thing I gotta say is this is my problem. Just don't underestimate the Titans. Like, if we suck, I'm not gonna say nothing. Well, I'm still gonna say something. But I'm gonna be realistic. All I'm saying is you gotta put a little more respect on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I you know what? I can respect that as well, man, because I'm gonna tell you what, I'm what I consider to be a realistic Texans fan. I am of the belief that, and this is what I think everybody in that group needs to realize, the AFC South as a whole over the last several years really hasn't been that good, man. Even when the Texans were consistently winning the division itself wasn't very good. And then they almost always got exposed in the playoffs when they played against somebody else. Almost always. So my thing, and that's, I think, once again, I don't know how much that goes on in that group. It's just trolling. It's just fanhood. I don't know what it is. But for delusion, yeah, that might be it too. But for me, my thing is that right now, I think it's pretty obvious that the Texans are a good team. I think the Colts,
contenders.
Right. I think the Colts are better than people are expecting. The Jaguars, I think, are worse than people are expecting. And then with the Titans, man, I think it's kind of just wait and see. I'm going to tell you like this. I don't think I've seen enough of Will Levis to know if he's good or not. I'm not going to say he's not good. I'm not going to say he is. I just don't know that I've seen enough. I know he played pretty well in a few spots last season. He was in a really bad situation. Now he has an opportunity with a new coach. He's got some new weapons. He has an opportunity going into this season. He knows he's the guy. Like, there's no questions, right? He knows he's the guy. So there's no excuses. OTAs, off-season program, whatever he's doing, like, he's going to be able to show, and he sat for a year. The problem is that it's probably a completely different playbook. So we're going to give him a little bit of grace. But these are all the things that all these Titans fans are not factoring in. Like, there's a good chance you guys are going to be really bad too. Like, you might be better. Let me ask you, what would be a good season in your mind? Like, what would you accept? What would you be happy with?
I'd say 8 wins.
8 wins?
8 wins. Yeah, 8 wins is a good season.
8 wins would be a great season for y'all.
But that's still not making the playoffs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great season, man. 8 wins.
Because this is what I would say. Like, a lot of people might not know what goes on with the Titans. So last season,
school us, man. Let us know.
So last season, Levis had got hurt in like rookie OTAs. So he missed all of training camp pretty much. And not only that, he was the 3rd quarterback on the roster.
Right.
So you mix that with getting thrown in mid-season, still partially recovering, not really getting to get a feel for receivers, a terrible offensive line,
Right.
a terrible offensive coordinator, and a terrible receiving core outside of D Hop. And like, you know, yeah, it's just you can't really have a lot of success with that. And even with all of those things, he's been when he has time to throw, he's pretty good. Like,
Yeah,
and I
I
don't,
just like I said, I think we still got to figure out like what is he
yeah.
gonna be.
Same with
Um,
Anthony Richardson though, because I can't really honestly
yeah,
give.
I mean, he balled
I
out for
honestly
3
give
games.
Will. Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, he did good for 3 games, but I mean, so did a lot of people. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
we've seen it a lot of
and
times.
listen,
So,
man, I've said the same thing about CJ Stroud. I mean, if you guys remember, VY had a great rookie season.
yeah.
VY had a pretty decent second season. Like, we've seen this before.
RG3.
RG3 had a great rookie year. Now his was more injury than anything, but I understand that. I wouldn't be surprised if CJ took a step back. I think CJ did enough through the course of a season though, and a playoff run, where you saw what he was good at and you saw what he wasn't good at. I think we know, based on what he was good at, that at minimum he's a quality starting quarterback. Like, I don't think there's any question about that. I just don't think Will Levis got to play enough to know if that's the case. He's going to get his chance this year. He's going to get his chance this year. And here's the thing, man. I'm not rooting for it to happen
Obviously,
because I'm from Houston, bro. And let me tell you, man, our dislike for the Titans has nothing to do with the state of Tennessee. I've never been to Tennessee. I would love to visit Tennessee. I've heard it's a beautiful place. I have a friend of mine who's recording his country album out there right now. He swears it's one of the most beautiful places in the country. One day, maybe I'll visit. It is nothing personal, man. My beef is with Bud Adams and his family. May he rest in hell, wherever he's at. Because look, man,
I'm gonna say this. Like, even Bud Adams when he was here, like, it was always kind of shaky with fans.
he was very hard to like, I'm sure.
He had a strong personality.
Yeah.
And if he didn't like something, he'd just, it is what it is, you know? Because even us getting VY, like,
Yeah.
he wanted us to get VY. Jeff Fisher didn't.
Right.
So that's kind of how that turned out. So,
Yeah. I understand. And that's my thing, man. So you kind of get it. But, like, Bud Adams, the issue here was that he wanted a stadium and he wanted the city to pay for it, which we kind of ended up doing anyway. But I just think I think the entire time he really just wanted to leave. I don't think, and because look, the Oilers, there are people in this city, man, who still love the Oilers. Like, the Oilers are still their team, man. Like, that team, especially in the 70s with Bum Phillips, the Love You Blue, Earl Campbell, like, this city loved that team. So you got to understand, man. And then, you know, the Warren Moon years, even Steve McNair, Eddie George were beloved in this city, man. Even though, you know, they weren't winning a lot at that point. Yeah, they weren't winning a lot at that point. But they were good players. And I'm telling you right now, the 96 against the Bills was probably 96 was our last year here. It was 93 against the Bills. That was probably the nail in the coffin, man. The next 3 years were not good, and that probably was the nail in the coffin. And, you know, people stopped going to games. They were wearing bags on their heads. And I think Bud Adams, I think he had enough disdain for this city already. And the people of this city understood that. And like you, I was really young, man. In 96, I was 12 years old, man. So when they left, me personally, I wasn't heartbroken over it because the only history I knew of the Oilers, the only experience I had was heartbreak. And a bunch of my family was all Cowboys fans anyway. But when they left, it didn't really hurt me until I started learning the history. And then when I found out they were taking the Oilers, the oil derrick, the colors, and just being petty, bro, that's when I really, like, our disdain is not for the city of Nashville. It's not for the state of Tennessee. It is for the Adams family. We will forever hate that family, hate that team. So it's one of those things, like, I can't root for Will Levis to be a good quarterback because it just completely goes against everything that is in my rooting interest.
I mean, yeah. I mean, hey, you got your own, thing or whatever. So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, of course, being a Titans fan hasn't been easy either. Like,
P.
it's
Scott, I'm
like
about to get you in.
Like, it's like when you have highs, it's real high, and when you have lows, it's very low. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Well, I'll
I'll say
tell you what,
this.
man. I have an opportunity. Go ahead.
Amy Adams is a lot different from her dad.
Okay.
Like she's more understanding, more directed to fans, because a couple of years ago they was thinking about getting rid of, like, moving the team again. So,
Oh, really?
and she was like, we're going to stay here. She renovated the stadium a little bit, added a practice facility, all of that stuff. So, like, added to the practice facility and all of that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is light years different.
I
So,
feel you. Well, that's a good thing. As a Titans fan, I'm going to make you feel good right now because one of your best moments came against my friend P. Scott's favorite team, the Buffalo Bills. What's up, P. Scott? How you doing?
You thought you were being slick with that whole Tennessee and Bills 93 versus the Music City Miracle. You thought you were slick and I wasn't going to catch up on that, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, it all comes together full circle, right? It all comes together full circle. So I'm glad you guys are here for this conversation. I'm talking AFC South with a Titans fan, and he seems to be fairly reasonable. I got to be honest with you, man. I was kind of hoping one of those crazy, unreasonable people would hop on here because that's just entertaining. But here's my deal. And this is going to go hand in hand with the debate that you and I guess, haven't finished, although in my mind it's done. Mr. P. Scott.
Going to end. It's the never-ending story. It's the song that never ends. The Addams Family.
Okay.
Keep it going too.
So, Mr. Webb, I want to ask you this question. If Will Levis,
I know where this is going.
If Will Levis in his second and third year becomes an excellent quarterback, let's say you said, so here's the deal. I thought 6 wins for the Texans last season. I was like, that's going to be a good season.
Y'all overachieved last year.
We far exceeded expectation. And I think in large part because we had excellent play at the quarterback position. We had really good coaching. And in my opinion, that's why that happened. So I just want to ask you, though, if Will Levis balls out 4,000 yards, 20, 30-some touchdowns, single-digit interception, 2-3 years in a row, do you want the Titans to pay that man whatever at that point, it'll probably be like $70 million a year for a quarterback. Something outrageous.
Before you answer, though, Nick, you are moving the goalposts on what we are paying, and I'm tired of.
I'm not moving the goalposts. We talked about Joe Burrow, so if he has a Joe Burrow-like start to his career, and when I'm talking about Joe Burrow, I'm talking just good production, wins, gets you to the Super Bowl, like
misses half of his games. Let's do that too.
That's. Why do we have to add Mrs. No. Why do we have to talk about the injury though? That's not part of this discussion. Okay, let's take him out of it. Never mind. Jalen Hurts. Well, he got hurt too.
I don't like Jalen Hurts though.
Okay, let's take
Jalen Hurts.
I'm just saying the type of production / result. You know what? Fuck, I'm sticking with Burrow. I don't understand why we have to factor in his injury at all. That makes no sense. Can you explain to me why the injury matters?
Because, okay, you want to do this simp thing of availability is the best ability.
No, that's not. You're doing that. Then? I'm not doing that.
No, I'm bringing it up because we've had this argument beforehand. But so
I don't care about the year that he missed. I care about what he did when he played.
So you said 2 or 3 years in a row of the same production, but you still want like dudes like Jared Goff to get paid Mahomes money. And this has always been a thing. So look, let's do this fairly.
Wait, let him answer the question first. Would you pay Will Levis?
I'm going to ask Mr. Webb.
Would you pay Will Levis if he proves that he's a good quarterback?
Would you pay Will Levis more than Patrick Mahomes? Yes or no?
No.
There we go. I rest my case.
Time out. But that's not how economics work.
But if the market changes and
It's always gonna change.
Yeah.
That's
but,
how
I mean,
economics work. So the next time,
if he's putting up the numbers,
yeah,
you have to pay him.
Yeah,
It's
the next time Patrick Mahomes is up for a contract extension, he's gonna point to Will Levis and say, "You see what he's making? I'm gonna need at least double that." Okay, cool. That's how economics works.
But we haven't seen that from him, though. We've seen, to a degree, almost kind of like the Tom Brady thing, where Tom Brady was never the highest paid quarterback, and Mahomes isn't even now. And that's been my point: is you got to stop paying quarterbacks more than Patrick Mahomes when they are not Patrick Mahomes. But the thing is, and this is what I said last week.
Didn't Patrick Mahomes get like a 13-year deal?
Yeah, and it should be for infinity $1 billion, but it's not.
Sure.
Like, but for me, it's always been
he's gonna re-up. I'm sure he'll re-up.
But the thing is that the precedent has been set that when you're the next highest paid dude, that's why Trevor Lawrence is getting paid what he got paid. It's because GMs are so dumb. They're like, well, we can't lose Trevor Lawrence. We can't lose Daniel Jones.
But you
I'm not
can.
saying that starting quarterbacks don't deserve to get paid. I'm saying stop paying every quarterback more than Mahomes because you think you can't lose them when you're not getting that dude. But it's never going to happen. It's always been my point.
But
technically overspending.
You keep twisting my words, Nick. And
I've never twisted your words. It's on wax, bro. It's on wax. I've never twisted your words. This is my thing.
Because technically you're overspending. It's like Mahomes is, put it this way, Mahomes is up here.
Mm-hmm.
I would not pay Dak Prescott what I pay Mahomes.
Of course not.
I wouldn't pay Dak Prescott what I pay Joe Burrow.
Why does my name have to get thrown in the mix too? Y'all being rude.
No, but check this out though. Like the salary cap continues to go up. Everybody's salary is going up. Therefore, at some point, a quarterback is going to be making more than Patrick Mahomes until it's time for him to re-up. And then he's going to say, I better make more than this dude. That's just the economics of it. Where you and I, Prescott, are misfiring is that you are comparing Joe Burrow to the likes.
All cylinders, bro.
You are comparing Joe Burrow to the likes of Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones. No, you should not pay those guys because you're not beating Mahomes with those guys ever. I don't care who's on your team.
You will with Joe Burrow.
Thank you. Joe Burrow has already beaten Patrick Mahomes with Tyreek Hill.
One time.
It was one time, but
he's only been in the league, what, 4 or 5 years now? So, like, he hasn't beat him yet, so he needs to retire, right, Prescott? Bro, Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback ever, probably. He's the greatest quarterback ever, probably. You're gonna tell a guy, I'm sorry, you gotta go because you're not the greatest of all time. You gotta go because you're not the GOAT.
No, but you're doing it again. You're saying you gotta go. You don't gotta go. You just can't get paid the GOAT money.
Bro,
you gotta go,
if you don't pay him,
you're not gonna get that money, dog.
If Cincinnati did not pay Joe Burrow, there are 22 other teams that would have given him that money.
And guess what? Still wouldn't win a Super Bowl either.
But if you don't pay him, who do you pay?
That's
the next
Prescott. I'm waiting.
No, Nick.
I'm waiting.
Nick, you're doing it again. That's my whole thing is then restart it. We've seen teams we never used to see NFL teams give up on first round quarterbacks sooner than we have recently. They're willing to move off and get out because we don't have to worry about these Jamarcus Russells, these Ryan Leafs, these Sam Bradford, and even Bradford was making crazy money.
Yeah, Bradford was making like $55 million back then.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
They're willing to move off of these guys much earlier because if by your metrics and what you said, win on a rookie salary scale, then why not restart it? The average life expectancy of an NFL player anyways is 3 to 5 years. Quarterbacks, that's elongated because of rules and everything else, and I won't get into that. But you're probably not staying with the same team as much as you would. Like back in the day, you played with one team, and that was largely it. Russell Wilson got traded, dog, and nobody thought that thing was going to happen. They're willing to do these things quicker than they've ever done beforehand, and the money is. I'm not going to pay a quarterback if I can get the same statistical value from basically 20 other dudes. I'm not going to pay them all more than Patrick Mahomes.
Who's giving you the same statistics?
The money has been set for these quarterbacks are just going to, they're going to be $1. It's the Price is Right. It's that plus $1.
Okay.
I'll say this
What
too,
quarterback that you're paying $15 million to has the same statistical value as Joe Burrow? I need the
Maybe
name
not Joe
of the
Burrow.
player.
Yeah, maybe not Joe Burrow, but okay. So Jared Goff has had similar numbers in certain years, but we've seen the low of Jared Goff. We've seen the high of Jared Goff.
Okay, let's do Jared Goff. I'm sorry.
Look at
Go ahead.
Deshaun Watson.
So Deshaun Watson, when he
No,
got paid, he
Deshaun
earned that
Watson
money.
Was gridiron
The first
Jordan
time.
up until like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, the first time he got paid, I would say he earned that. What the Cleveland Browns did for him was crazy. But I'm okay.
Yeah,
let's talk.
Nobody will do it again, and nobody will do it again.
No, of course not.
That was an example of why you don't do it right there.
For sure. Let's talk Jared Goff then. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk Jared Goff. Because I made you the GM of the Lions last week. I don't know if you heard, but you are the GM of the Lions now.
I did not hear that one, no. So now I'm the GM of the Lions?
You are the GM of the Lions.
I'm
Okay.
getting John Kitna.
And
right
you
now.
did
I'm
not
getting John
and you did
Joey Harrington.
we already know you decided not to give a contract extension to Jared Goff. And so he went on and played somewhere else. For the 2024 season, okay? Who did you draft? And who is your starting quarterback for this year?
If I'm the Lions?
Yeah. After going to the NFC Championship game, you let Goff go. I want to know, they had the 26th pick in the draft. Who'd you draft at 26? And who's your starting quarterback this season? That's going to give you the same production as Goff.
Well, no. So what you're doing is putting a rookie in the position of a guy who's been in the league for 9 years.
No, you
Like, those aren't the
could
same
sign
thing.
a free agent. That's what you said. You could sign a free
Colin
agent.
Kaepernick. I'm putting Cap in there right now. We run.
You are signing Colin Kaepernick, bro.
Yo, you told me.
Let
you
me
know how
let me
my
tell you
podcast
something
goes. I
right
don't
now,
take
bro. You better have unemployment on speed dial. If you bring in after an NFC Championship game, you bring in Colin Kaepernick, you let go of Jared Goff, and then who do you draft? You can't draft at 26, so you have to trade to move up. Who'd you move up to get in the draft?
Dude, you can get anybody. It doesn't. I'm not moving up. That's the thing, dude. I'm not. You're
Okay,
you're
what
missing
quarterback
my
in this draft did you pick at 26? Because they
I
were all
didn't pick
gone
anybody at
after
26.
12. Huh?
I didn't pick anybody at 26. And so you mentioned earlier about, because you kind of piggybacked on my theory as far as I don't watch a whole lot of college football, don't watch a whole lot of college hoops. So I'm not going to speak like I'm an expert on certain things when I know that I'm not.
Right.
Now, with that being said, you're putting me this hypothetical around the spot of who do you get besides Jared Goff? And the thing is, for me, I've seen the lows and lows of Jared Goff, and I've seen how good he can be when everything is perfect.
And it got
And
you
I
to
think
the
you can
Super
get
Bowl.
Almost anybody. It doesn't matter, because to me the Lions are overrated. Like Webb said earlier, Houston to a degree kind of overachieved, and every single year there is a team that overachieves. It's every single damn year. I'm not saying that
Okay, we
Houston's
call it
bad, but to me,
overachieving. We call it
that's
overachieving.
Detroit could miss the playoffs entirely, because if they don't win that division, there's a chance they don't make it in period. And that's the reason why I'm so tough on the Bills.
Okay.
Is if they don't win the AFC East, good luck, man, because the AFC entirely is ridiculous.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we
it's
call
really
it.
it's really just one sided. Whoever comes out of the AFC is pretty much most likely going to win the Super Bowl.
So yeah.
So the NFC just says they should just stay home.
Yeah. Well, I still like the 49ers. I still like the 49ers, and I still like Philly. But listen,
Well, the 49ers are favored in every single game this year.
Yeah.
Every
So-
single game they are favorites.
They had too many. They
But
had
you-
too many chances.
They have too many chances.
They had too many chances. They've been competitive the last like 10 years and never won.
So this is my thing, though. You say the Texans overachieved, or you're saying the Lions overachieved, but like the only reason we say overachieved is because they didn't do what we, who have no clue, thought they were going to do. Like at the end of the day, you are who your record says you are. So the Texans
moment,
are
you
a
are
good
who-
team. We did not know they were going to be a good team, but we were basing that off what they did the year previously. Just like we really don't know. We're projecting that the Texans could be great this season, but they might not be. They might be the exact same. Who knows? But my point is that with Jared Goff, like if you're going to let him go, cool, let him go. But you have a team that got to the NFC Championship. Are you telling me you don't think the team around him is good enough to win it all either?
No, I don't.
Not
I don't.
defensively or
No, I think what we're doing is because it's a feel-good story. It's a team that's been so trash for so long, and they made it to an NFC Championship game. And now what we're doing is we're trying to build them up to be better than what they are. Some teams.
So you
have
don't
these
think they're a
massive-
quarterback away, even though they got to the NFC Championship?
No, I don't. I
All
think
right.
they-
More than that.
Pull out Patrick Mahomes, put him on the Lions. Do they win the Super Bowl?
Do what? I'm sorry.
Take Patrick Mahomes off the Chiefs, put him on the Lions. Is that a Super Bowl team?
Yeah, because I've seen them do it. Yeah, I think that it is because Patrick Mahomes is that good. Now, if you were
Okay.
asking me,
What about
year
Joe Burrow?
two, if you're asking me Patrick Mahomes year 2, probably not. But this year, this Patrick Mahomes with losing everybody and them they look like trash from what all the experts are saying, and they still win back-to-back Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill and basically Travis Kelce being their only dude. Yeah. I think that if you put him with Amon St. Brown and their offensive line, in the division.
Wasn't
as
this a
well,
Houston sports
I think that they
podcast?
can do that. What?
I said, wasn't this a Houston sports podcast? No, it's cool.
I'm
It's cool.
hijacking this now because you want to put me on the
Of course.
spot. I'm hijacking it, and this is now officially my.
No, it's fine. It's fine, man.
I'll say this: the Texans, y'all are similar. I know you don't want to hear this, but the Texans are similar to what the Titans did in 2017. And what I mean by that is overachieve, beat the Chiefs, made it past the wild card, and then got smacked by the freaking Patriots. And then that next year, when Vrabel first came, they missed the playoffs by 1 game. Y'all could easily do that.
Oh,
And then not saying that you can't follow it up years after, but that could easily happen.
2017 was Mariota.
Yeah.
Was that
Okay.
was that the tip past the line he caught it and ran in for a touchdown? Was that game?
Yeah.
Did you ever believe in Mariota?
I actually did at first. I'm not gonna lie.
I
Because his rookie year was pretty decent.
I appreciate your honesty with that take.
I mean,
Yeah, like he was pretty decent his rookie year. Like
He
it
was-
wasn't-
yeah, it was a Lamar Jackson-esque rookie season, I would say.
he got hurt. He got hurt way too much though.
Yeah.
And
Well, because he was kind of reckless.
he became timid.
I don't disagree with you. The Texans definitely could either. I don't see them taking a step back, but they could be stagnant this season. I mean, there's so much that could factor into it. There's injury. There's the health of other teams. There's so much that goes into it. I think at minimum, there's reason for optimism for the Houston Texans.
Yeah. I just wish I wish y'all fans would just calm down a little bit. That's all. Just be a little.
Okay,
just be a
so
little humble,
every
that's
city has some really ignorant and annoying fans, right? Like we can admit that. And that's one of the reasons I started this podcast. I'm trying to tone that down in the city of Houston. I'm trying to raise our IQ level up, okay? So that's one of the reasons I started this podcast to begin with. But listen, man, I want to say this, and then I've been going for a little over an hour though, and I appreciate both of you for hopping in. Appreciate both of you for chiming in. My audience, they already know P. Scott. You guys check him out on Chopping Up with P. Scott podcast. Since he made an appearance, I'll go ahead and make sure I put all his links in the description so you guys can tune into his stuff. Your first name's Trevor White, right? Trevor Webb?
Thomas.
I'm sorry. Where did I get Trevor? Oh, that's your quarterback's name. Or no, that's the other quarterback. My bad. Thomas Webb, I appreciate you tuning in, man. I do this live stream every week, so if you want to hop in at any other time, man, especially when the season starts. Oh, believe me, when the Titans and the Texans play, we will be having a discussion, my brother.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
You think y'all gonna sweep us this season?
When I did my analysis, my expert analysis of the schedule, and I went through it, yes, I had us beating you both games.
Ooh, let's see
I have
this.
the Texans going 12-5, and actually have us losing to the Cowboys, which did not make my listeners happy or the people who are Houston fans happy. But I have us going 12-5.
You guys should make a wager right now.
I was gonna say that.
AFC
Okay, if you guys win, if you guys win a game
top
against us, I will wear a Titans jersey while I host this show.
Okay.
And if we sweep you,
A Will Levis jersey.
I'll wear a Will Levis jersey. I gotta.
But the members,
I'm not buying one though, bro. You're gonna send me one to borrow because I ain't buying a Will Levis jersey.
No.
Okay. I'll make it easy. You can wear a hat. Wear a Titans.
Okay, I'll wear a Titans hat for the entire show if they beat us.
And you got to.
And if I
on that kind of wager,
all right, and I'll send you a Texans T-shirt or something. Actually, you know what? You're from
I'll go ahead and
Tennessee.
send
You're
you
from
the hat
Tennessee.
because y'all not gonna sweep us.
Huh?
I'll go ahead and send the hat. 'cause y'all
You
not-
gotta play it with the chest, man. Get this. You're not
Okay.
beating us
Okay.
in the game.
No. I mean, I would save your money. You have until we play all week 18, so you have the entire season to.
Which I think is some BS because they tried to put it at the end of the year thinking it's gonna be a cakewalk, but
No, man.
This is a
Maybe
division
they
game.
thought it was
We
going to
always
be.
do it on a
Maybe they
division
thought that
game.
game was going to decide the division, man. Maybe they're showing you some love.
but both of the games are at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, is it like week? Is it with like week 14 and week 18, basically?
It's like week 16 and then week 18.
Yeah, something
that's
like
how
that.
bad it is.
No, because
Yikes.
hold on, I'll have to bring the schedule up later. But yeah, so I'll figure out something. I'm gonna make you post on your socials. Actually, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna post yourself in Texans gear on AFC South Warzone in a CJ Stroud jersey. That's what it is. Look, man, I got the Chinese bootleg, so I can send you one of those.
Okay. All right. Well, if so,
Those are
you
only
gotta
like
wear-
$15. I'll send you one of those.
All right.
Oh,
if-
man.
If the Titans win, you got to put the score on the jersey.
Oh,
The
I
score?
like that. Like on the shoulder pad. Like
Yeah, put
winner
the
on
score on the
one,
jersey.
loser on the other. I like that. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I
We'll
like how I'm just
continue.
making up rules for you guys, and I'm just.
I
dipping
know,
out
right?
altogether.
So what's up with the Bill? What's up with the Bills Texans game? Let's get it in.
Actually, I was thinking about that. Because they play October, right? Like early October, mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking because I've got you and a bunch of other dudes in the Houston area that I'd love to meet for the first time. I've got like the internet connection with you guys. But
Yeah.
there's like 6 or 7 dudes who I'd love to actually meet in person, and I'm thinking about trying to coordinate.
So you're
a trip
traveling?
down to Houston to watch that Houston Bills game and chop it
Hey,
together.
we'll be wearing our H-Town jerseys that game too. So
Piece
get
of
it.
H
Knock
Town
off.
game.
Knock off Oilers jerseys.
Right.
Come on. Knock off Oilers jersey. Come on, man. Anyways, man, that's crazy, bro. I want to thank both of y'all for coming on. I would say, let me real quick, what's your win-loss for the Titans? You said you think 8 wins would be a good season, but what do you think they're actually gonna do?
At worst, 8 games. At best, 11 games.
Whoa. You think
That
8 is
quite
the floor?
swing, good sir.
You think 8's the floor? Like that's the worst they'll do?
Have you seen our roster?
Yes, I have.
That's the point.
No. Okay. All right. I'm just saying. I mean,
Who's running the ball for y'all?
Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears.
Tony Pollard. That's the Cowboys reject, right?
A 1,000-yard running back. We're not a running team anymore either. So
Yeah, that doesn't look
I mean,
good for y'all.
We'll see,
Tony
man.
I think Tony Pollard's a good. I think he's a good back, but we can't oversell what he did.
Tony
Tajay-
Pollard's a good. Tony
Tajay
Pollard's not a
Spears-
number 1 running back.
It's gonna be split. Tajay Spears is. I prefer Tajay Spears over Tony Pollard.
Okay.
You know what they say? If you got 2 running backs,
All
you
right,
got
and who's
none.
Will Levis throwing to? We already know he's throwing to one Hall of Famer and DeAndre
Calvin
Hopkins,
Ridley.
who y'all stole from us.
Calvin Ridley, D Hop, Calvin Ridley. You have
He's
Tyler
not old
Boyd.
though, man. Like
He had
for
1,000. He had 1,000 yards last year.
Okay,
no, but
In a
So-
terrible.
so
that
in a
value's
terrible
a little
offense.
younger though.
you're
He's
telling
not.
me that Will Levis is already better than Trevor Lawrence?
I didn't say that. See, don't-
Because Trevor
I
Lawrence
didn't
was
say-
throwing passes to Calvin Ridley.
Nick is just poking the proverbial bear, man. He do-
Trevor
No,
Lawrence was
hey,
throwing passes to
I'll-
Calvin Ridley. You got to
think
admit, Calvin Ridley is underachieved based on what we thought he should be, right? In his
He
time in the
made-
NFL.
Calvin
He
Ridley's
was-
dope, dude. The Falcons were willing to move off Julio Jones for Calvin Ridley, but he got suspended. Like that's how good that dude is.
He missed the whole season and came back and still had
Mhm.
1,000 yards. I
Okay.
don't know too many people that can do that. So either way, y'all need to figure out who's double teaming who, because I would hope y'all can play man to man. Because we got Tyler Boyd.
Stingley's that dude.
He is. That's nice. I give him that. We got Tyler Boyd.
Kamari Lassiter
Really?
looks nice.
I
Now,
forgot that you got Tyler Boyd too. I forgot about that.
Then Traylon Burks, I mean, if you just leaving him out there just on whoever you decide, I mean, I know he hasn't lived up to it up to this point.
This is the real question, though. This great quarterback that you believe you have, who in the hell is going to keep him off of his back? How's he going to have time to get the ball to any of those receivers? That's the question.
We redid the offensive line, too.
You got one guy.
The ghost of Bruce Matthews is coming out that locker room door, bro.
Look, man.
We got the best offensive line coach in the league.
Who you got? Y'all got Callahan, right?
Yeah. We just drafted an offensive lineman.
Okay.
We went offensive lineman first last year.
Listen,
and
man.
We got Christian Berry, who came from the Broncos, who's actually one of the best centers in the league. So
okay. This is what I'll tell you, man.
I'm just saying.
This is what I'll tell you. The AFC South being good would be wonderful to me. I'm tired of this division being trash. I hope it's good. I would love for eventually all the teams to be good. I just want to beat all of y'all. And then that way nobody says, oh, the only reason the Texans win is because their division is trash. Because let's keep it real. When they were winning the division was trash. Like 100%. Mm-hmm. We know that. Like, and that's like I said,
winning the division was trash.
Yeah, for sure. So
that's the same thing with the Bills in the AFC East. The Pats were just running roughshod through the AFC East because there was just complete incompetence throughout the entire division.
Right. I need you to call your shot on the Bills too, P. Scott.
Oh, the floor is 2 wins. The ceiling was 17-0, dog.
Oh man.
I think the Bills will win at least 9 games this year.
No, I see them. I think worst case scenario, it's going to be probably 7. Josh Allen's going to win. He's going to will you to a couple of games just because he's.
You don't like Coleman? You're a second round pick.
Well, I just don't know. That's the thing is I don't know. The thing is when
he was a beast at Florida State.
Was it?
I said he was a beast at Florida State.
So was Kelvin Benjamin, but he turned that dude from Good Burger that real quick, dog. For me, it's just.
But he's got Josh Allen throwing him the ball, man.
That's just though. But see, that's the thing. I actually watched Bills football. So the first 2 years of Josh Allen's career, it was a lot of he's cheeks, inaccurate. And what I appreciate about what the Bills had done was they went from short guys who were fast and get separation
to physical
because they knew that he had an accuracy issue, and then they realized, oh, what if we get tall guys with bigger catch radiuses because he's inaccurate? Let's do that. So I've seen the Josh Allen story before Stephon Diggs. I haven't seen it posted though, but I've seen what he's been with one of the best wide receivers in football. It's not that I don't like Coleman. It's just I don't know what he's going to be. And this seems like this team is almost – it's not a carbon copy of the 2 years beforehand, but you're having dudes play out of place. So you have a true number one who's not a true number one. Like once you got Diggs, everybody got to move to the position that they actually can play in, and that's when Allen flourished. So I don't think that – and they have Kincaid and they've got Knox. They've got other weapons. I'm not trying to discount those dudes, but they're not the same caliber dude as Stephon. So – you guys got Diggs. I'm happy for y'all. I just see like the floor for me. Again, Allen's going to win you a few games just because of how he does things.
Okay.
Floor to me is 7. Max is probably 12.
I think they're still.
He lost Gabriel Davis too.
I think they still have better odds to win the Super Bowl than the Texans do.
Which to me,
last time I checked Vegas. It's been a while.
If they do, I understand the reason why. If they do, is because it's Houston's first time. Like really, it's like it seems like they're on the come up. The Bills have been in this conversation now for 4 or 5 years as like a top 3 or 4 Super Bowl favorite. So I understand why the Bills are favored by Vegas. I just don't believe it at all.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because y'all lost Gabriel Davis too.
Well, Gabe Davis was always frustrating because he'd either have like 8 catches for 192 yards and 2 tuds, or he'd get 4 targets, 1 catch for -6. He was the most infuriating person I've ever seen in my entire life.
All right, man. Hey, have you pre-ordered Madden yet?
I have not yet.
Okay. You pre-order Madden yet? I know you're going to get it.
No, I don't. I want I hate Madden. I'm not going to lie.
Oh man, we need to start an online league, man.
But I'll play though, because I mean I do play a lot. I'm really looking forward to college football.
Yeah, they're selling it in a package right now.
That's supposed to be fire.
They're selling it in a package right now. You play Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
That's right. It's cross-gen. You can cross-gen.
Yeah, but yeah, you can cross check on that though.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, man. I gotta get out of here. I got a 4-hour drive to to Wimberley coming up. But this is what I will say.
I hijacked your afternoon.
No, man, it's all good. It's all good. This is what I will say though. I'm tired of talking about projection and everything that we're guessing about. I can't wait for football season to start. We needed to get here ASAP. Whenever we play the Bills and whenever we play the Titans, man, I'm gonna get y'all back on here. We're gonna talk lots of unmitigated trash. I think I'm gonna start doing my pre and post game shows again when the season starts. So I'll have a lot of opportunities to mix it up with you guys and talk some more football, man. But thank you guys so much for joining the show. I hope you will immediately close out your windows and go share this with your friends and your family. Did you see they posted this inside AFC South Warzone? The show's actually
because I shared it to my chopping it up with Peace God page at the moment that you dropped it.
No,
so
it's playing in AFC South Warzone right now, and not one person from.
If you send it to me, I'll post it too. So.
Yeah. No, it's in the Warzone right now. If you go look, it's in there right now, and not one of those Colts fans or Jaguars fans has said a word. Because I told him, I'm like, let's talk about it. I was like, let's talk about it. It's a lot of people with them Twitter fingers, man. I'm telling you, they make you bold. But no, thank you guys so much for showing up. Thomas, man, you're the man for showing up and doing this, man. Like I said, mutual respect. We'll do this again. I'm glad we could have a decent conversation, still talk trash. You know, it's not that serious, bro. It's just sports. But
right.
But I'm gonna see y'all next time, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good weekend, y'all.
All right, you too. Later, peace out. I'll holler at you.
All right, you too. All right.
There you guys.
All righty, man. That was fun. I'm glad we did that. So for me, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down for H-Town because I'm the president of Houston Sports, and that's what I do. So I believe that the Houston Texans will go 12-5. That's, for me, that's the low end. On the high end, I think they could win 13, 14 games, get the first seed, and that's really going to be the key to them doing something that they haven't done before. I've said that to you guys. The Houston Texans, if they can get home field advantage throughout, because the AFC is tough, and all the teams that are good, they play in cold weather cities. You don't want to go to Baltimore. You don't want to go to Cincinnati. You don't go to Kansas City and have to play those teams. They're hard enough as it is, you know, in a neutral stadium. So if you can get all of your games at home, where the Texans have not won a road game in the playoffs in their history, we know that. Like, let's not act like we don't know that and that's not a part of our history. But to me, if you don't want to worry about it, dominate as best you can in the regular season, and get yourself some home playoff games, man. But I'm riding for the Houston Texans. I believe the state of the Houston Texans is 100% great. And the proof in the pudding is that everybody in AFC South Warzone is just straight hating on us. If you go look at that group page, all it is a bunch of people hating on the Texans. And they hate us because they ain't us. And that's all I got to say about that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. Really quick, I want to remind you once again of the ways that you can support the show. One of them you have been doing. Hopefully you made it this far. We went a little bit off the rails. It wasn't all Houston sports, but I had a really good time talking to Thomas, talking to P. Scott. Once again, guys, thank you guys for coming on. For me, I just want you guys to share the show and enjoy the show. That's the best way you can support me. If you'd like to contribute financially, there's a QR code if you're watching the video right there in the corner, or you can find the link in the description of the video. Anything you leave from this show will go towards giving you guys more content. And $50 or more will get you one of these Houston Sports State of the Union podcast t-shirts. I'm going to have to send one of these to P. Scott and to Thomas and make them wear it when my team beats both of their teams as well. Also, we have affiliate links in the description for Houston Sports Fan Gear of the Week and for all of the equipment that I use to bring you this podcast. Anytime you guys purchase that, once again, I will get a commission from that, and that is another way to support the show financially. Lastly, sponsorship. I do have one more spot available. I appreciate the people who have inquired about it, but I still got a spot available. So if you want to do more than just talk about it, let me represent your business. Let me make you ads. Let me put your business out in front so that all of my viewers can see it. And then hopefully we grow our businesses together. And those are the ways you can support the show. Guys, I'm going to be doing this show next week on Tuesday, I believe. It depends on if I'm back from my vacation. But happy 4th of July, guys. I want to remind you guys that freedom is a privilege and it is not guaranteed. Freedom is one of those things that you have to fight for. And by fight, I don't mean with violence. I mean, freedom is one of the things that you have to demand. It is fragile. It can go away in a heartbeat. But if we all just realize that we are not enemies in this country amongst one another, basically we all want the same thing. We do have some different ideas on how to achieve those things, but together we are stronger than we are apart. I see a lot of division out there. I see a lot of partisan politics that are really interfering with the fact that we are all Americans. And I want to say happy birthday to America. You have yet to reach your highest ideal and highest aspiration, but I pray that you will continue to move towards that instead of away from it. Guys, in the meantime, until I see you next week, I want you to stay 10 toes down for H-Town. I love you. Have a good night.
This has been the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast, hosted by Nick Stevenson. Tune in next week for more news and analysis of your favorite Houston teams. Please follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, the app, formerly known as Twitter, if that's even really still a thing. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.